It's the first of a four-game series, the Minnesota Twins and the Detroit Tigers. Twins currently in the second wild card spot. Yankees and Twins. Behind them, the Angels, the Rangers, and the Royals. Angels trailing their game in the bottom of the ninth inning. Good evening, everybody. With Tom Verducci, I'm Kenny Albert. What a turnaround season it has been for the Minnesota Twins, Tom. Worst record in baseball last year in that second wild card spot, thanks in large part to the play of Byron Buxton.
Well, listen, I think of him as a proxy for this whole Twins team. When you talk about extreme talent and a lack of experience, you're going to get some inconsistency. At his best, one of the most exciting players in the game defensively. He is an impact player, fast and fearless in center field. Now, the offense has come around in the second half thanks to some key mechanical adjustments. But he's coming off a series in New York where he went 0 for 10 with 7 strikeouts. Paul Molitor, Twins manager, has dropped him from 5th to 7th. It's all part of being young and in a pennant race.
Yes, the Twins swept in the Bronx. They were outscored 18-6 by the Yankees, but still in that second wild card spot. Now the Tigers going through some tough times, but they have the opportunity to play the role of spoiler. Twins have 10 games remaining, 7 of the 10 against Detroit.
Yeah, the quirk of the schedule can just be amazing sometimes. A team that is 4-16 this month, the Tigers will have a large say in terms of who goes forward to the American League playoffs. Now, they've been a thorn in the side of the Twins. They are 7-5 against them this year. And yes, the Texas Rangers are still in it, a game under 500. A 6-month marathon is down to an 11-day sprint. Welcome to September baseball.
It is September 21st as the Twins and Tigers get set to open this four-game series here in Detroit. Twins at 78 and 74 after losing 103 games last season. The Minnesota batting order, Brian Dozier will lead off, followed by Joe Mauer, then Jorge Polanco, Eddie Rosario in the cleanup spot. Eduardo Escobar will bat 5th, and Max Kepler. Bottom of the order, Buxton, Jason Castro, and Robbie Grossman, as the Twins get set to face the 31-year-old right-hander Jordan Zimmerman. Tom pitching for the first time in 19 days due to some neck issues.
Yeah, he received a shot to basically block the nerves in that neck shoulder area. We'll see if that takes effect for tonight, but you're talking about a guy whose velocity is down. 91 miles an hour, typically you'll see him at 94, 95. Keep an eye on that. As I mentioned, is he rested or rusted? You never know with 19 days of rest. And Twin Peaks, 3 starts against the Twins this year. His ERA is over 13 against Minnesota.
We check out the Tigers defensively. Cabrera, Kinsler, Iglesias, Candelario with Montuk, Jones, and Castellanos in the outfield from left to right. The battery of Zimmerman and McCann. Tigers 7-5 against the Twins this season. Brian Dozier falls behind 0-1. Dozier leading the Twins in home runs and runs batted in this season. Right center. It's Jones who makes the catch to retire Dozier, 1 away. Well, it's all over, Tom, in Anaheim. Indians over the Angels 4-1. So the Twins lead over the Angels now 2 games.
It's amazing. The Indians just don't know how to lose. In this race, the Twins are 8-11 this month and haven't lost any ground.
Joe Mauer takes a called strike. Twins have gone 26-18 since August 6th. There were 4 games under the 500 mark at that point. And their lead over the Angels in the race for that second wild card position in the American League is now 2 full games. Rob Drake behind the plate. Roberto Ortiz at first. Tony Randazzo at second, and the crew chief, Jerry Davis, is the third base umpire.
I'm not sure how deep Jordan Zimmerman can get into this game, but the early signs, 5 pitches in, are good. I mentioned this velo, 91 miles an hour average last start, the lowest of his 223 career starts, already seeing 93s.
Mauer with a base hit into left field. So Joe Mauer extends his hitting streak to 6 games. Twins have a 1-out base runner here in the top of the first. Here's Jorge Polanco, switch hitting shortstop. Batting .254, he's driven in 69 runs. On the first pitch, he shoots it into left field. Moving to his right, Mikey Montuk. 2 away.
You know, I like the approach, though, because to me, Zimmerman is a guy with very good control, not sure about command. So to me, the Twins, who are essentially a very patient team, are better off attacking fastballs early in the count. Don't let him get to that slider, because when he's on, that slider will be his go-to pitch with 2 strikes.
The Hall of Famer Paul Molitor. His Twins looking to become the first team in baseball history to lose at least 100 games and make it to the postseason the next year. Here's Eddie Rosario. No hits in his last 8 at bats. Mauer the runner at first with 2 outs. Tom Mauer, 4 keys to the game.
Well, I mentioned that the Twins have to get out of their comfort zone a little bit, be aggressive on early fastballs against Zimmerman. And for the Tigers, make right versus right. The Tigers lead the major leagues in batting against left-handed pitching. I realize some of those numbers were put up with J.D. Martinez and Justin Upton, both traded. But it's a lineup much better suited to lefties, and they will see one tonight.
Adalberto Mejia starting for the Twins tonight. 24-year-old left-hander. As Rosario falls behind in the count, 1-2. Tiger skipper Brad Ausmus. Tigers coming off a 3-game sweep at the hands of the Oakland Athletics. Detroit now 62-90.
He's getting ready for a long game.
Yes.
Getting the energy bar going. Both these pitchers probably will not pitch deep into the game.
A 1-2 from Zimmerman, fouled back.
Say that because both Zimmerman and Mejia have dealt with some health issues here in the second half of the season, not fully stretched out.
A 1-2 to Rosario. Fouls it off back behind first. Last full day of summertime. 85 degrees, humid, clear skies.
Yeah, we're talking about playoff spots. October is not in the air tonight. This is more like August, July.
A 1-2 from Zimmerman, missing low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mentioned no team has gone to the postseason after losing 100 games. 7 teams have gone 2 seasons after losing 100. The last, the Astros, back in 2015.
Rosario doing a nice job extending this at bat. I think obviously the power is a major difference in his game this year, but also patience, better plate discipline. He's still extremely aggressive, but better though than last year.
He's fouled off 4 straight 2-strike pitches from Zimmerman, and now a 5th. 5 pitches so far, 4 shy of Joe Mauer's at bat yesterday against the Yankees.
He wants Mauer to know I can do that too. Mauer had 7 foul balls in his 13 pitch at bat against Luis Severino, ended with a base hit.
10th pitch of the at bat, another foul.
Jordan's got that look on his face like enough already. He's thrown him a fastball, curveball, changeup, and a slider. And Rosario is still in the box.
6 straight foul balls. Here's pitch number 11. And Zimmerman wins the battle. Mauer stranded on first. We head to the bottom of the first in Detroit. Bottom of the first inning. Ian Kinsler will lead off for the Tigers, followed by Candelario, then Cabrera, Castellanos, Matuk, McCann, Hicks, Jones, Iglesias. With 24-year-old left-hander Adalberto Mejia facing the Tigers for the 3rd time this season. No decision in each of the first 2 starts. Right field off the bat of Kinsler, 1 out. 20th start this season for Mejia. Record of 4-6.
Well, you may see some swings tonight on fastballs up. The hitter will shake his head. How did I miss that? I'll tell you why. He's got a high spin four-seamer. Doesn't have great velocity. It's more average, 93, 94, but that spin makes it disappear on hitters up. Also, when he gets ahead, the slider is the best pitch. And the book on Mejia is a short story. He's pitched 5 innings or less in 13 of his 19 starts.
Facing Candelario. Center fielder Buxton is under it. Quickly 2 outs on 3 pitches from Mejia. Mejia 4-3 over his first 12 starts this season, Tom, but he's gone winless over his last 7. He's also spent a couple of stints on the 10-day disabled list recently.
Yeah, he had a bicep strain that kept him out for about 5 weeks. Actually threw the ball well in his last start, but again, you're probably not going to see him throw more than 70, 80 pitches tonight.
This is only his 4th. He's retired 2. Ball 1 to Miguel Cabrera, facing Mejia for the 3rd time. Cabrera 0 for 2. Mejia from the Dominican Republic. Was not drafted, spent 5.5 years in the San Francisco Giants organization. And was acquired by the Twins last July in the trade for Eduardo Nunez, now with the Red Sox.
So I asked him, who was your guy growing up in the Dominican? Of course, he went with a big lefty, CC Sabathia. I asked him why. He said he goes right after hitters. We're seeing that so far tonight.
Missing high, 2-2.
That's the pitch he'll get swings and misses on. 94, 93. Make sure you get it at the top of the zone or slightly above. Much more hittable when it's just below.
Full count. Castellanos on deck. Should Cabrera reach? Cabrera batting just .249 this season. American League most valuable player back in 2012 and again the next year. Mejia missing away. Cabrera heads to first. 2-out base runner for the Detroit Tigers. What a treat to chat with Paul Molitor prior to the game tonight.
Oh, I'm telling you, that is getting an education in baseball at a master's level. Talking about defensive shifting, bunting, hitting, you name it. Great baseball mind. Done a terrific job this year with this young Minnesota team.
Here's Nick Castellanos working on a 17-game hitting streak, longest active streak in all of baseball.
Yeah, he's a guy with great power to right center field, but on ground balls, he's going to pull it. The pitch you see there, fastballs up and away. He can drive it in the gap. One reason he has so many triples in this ballpark, hitting the ball to right center field.
He took Mejia deep earlier this season at Target Field. 0-2. During a 17-game hitting streak, Castellanos batting .418. Cabrera the runner on first with 2 outs. Bottom of the first inning. The 0-2 to Castellanos.
That's the go-to pitch. The slider with 2 strikes. That one he tried to get on the back foot. I asked him about that pitch, and he actually didn't begin throwing it until Double-A. Had been a curveball fastball pitcher. And he talked to one of the coaches he had in the Dominican and said, I need better pitch. And his coach sent him a picture off the internet of a slider grip. And that's how he basically self-taught himself that pitch. It's a good one.
I don't think they were doing it that way back in the 40s and 50s.
No, I don't think that's how Steve Carlton picked up his.
No.
But I hear you can learn a lot off that internet thing, including a pretty good slider.
Here comes the 0-2 to Castellanos. Kepler in right. Tigers are retired. Cabrera stranded on first. We head to the second, no score. Eduardo Escobar leads off for the Minnesota Twins in the top of the second inning against Jordan Zimmerman. Takes strike one. Escobar starting for the 30th time in the last 31 games at third base for the injured Miguel Sano. Career high 19 home runs and 63 runs batted in for Escobar this season. On the ground to the right side, it's Ian Kinsler. One away.
You see Max Kepler come up. This Twins team, the core major league team, grew up together in the minor leagues. This is back in A-ball, the Fort Myers Miracle. Max Kepler, Byron Buxton, Eddie Rosario, all on the same team. You had Jose Barrios come through there. A lot of talent on that team, my goodness. And Jorge Polanco. I love to see that a group of guys come up together. They know each other. They had success in the minor leagues. Getting it done in the major leagues. How about this? You see the 18 home runs for Kepler. The Twins have 3 outfielders 25 and under with at least 16 home runs. That does not happen every day. You know how many times it's happened? I'm glad you asked, Kenny. 3 times.
Wow.
That's it. 25 or younger in the outfield with at least 16 home runs. 85 Blue Jays and 62 Dodgers. Now we've got the 17 Twins. Just getting started.
Some pretty impressive names on those other 2 teams.
Some long careers by those gentlemen.
Max Kepler, born in Germany.
Still a work in progress. Really has to make adjustments against left-handed pitching. But very good athlete.
Terrific tennis player. He received a scholarship at one point to the Steffi Graf Tennis Foundation in Berlin.
Yeah, I read he was 7 years old when he got this scholarship. Man, they scout him early. So that's how good he was.
Kepler takes a call, strike 3. Second strikeout for Jordan Zimmerman.
A great backdoor curveball. Let's see if this nips the outside portion of the plate. Rob Drake says it did. Nice job by McCann, just gently pulling that one back in. That, to me, give McCann an assist. Because that pitch was off the plate, and he presented the pitch so well. When you've got a breaking ball working around the plate, you want to make sure you frame it, bring it in a little bit so the umpire gets a good look.
So with 2 away, here's Byron Buxton. We talked about him in the open. One of the best defensive players in all of baseball, and he's been hot at the plate over the last 2 months as well.
You know, Kenny, if this kid were hitting around 200, as he did for the first couple months of the season, he's so good defensively, he'd still be an impact player. But you add just, I want to say average offense, but certainly a ceiling is much higher than that. And you're talking about one of the most exciting players in the game.
Our Gatorade Extra Effort player profile. One of the 5th Twin with at least 15 home runs and 25 steals. And the subject of a full-page column in the sports section of today's Wall Street Journal.
Was that about his investments?
He will have a lot of money to invest if he continues at this pace.
Yeah, no, that was about his use of defensive metrics in the game today. New generation is adapting to things as status quo that some of the older generations say, I don't know about that. Talking about some of the StatCast data.
Terrific column, authored by Jared Diamond. Buxton sends this one into center field. Jones makes the catch. A 1-2-3 second for Zimmerman. Fest 1 is sponsored by Budweiser, who reminds you, don't drive drunk. And by Falcon Tires, the official tire of Major League Baseball. Bottom of the second inning in Detroit. No score. Kenny Albert, Tom Verducci. Mikey Batuk leads off for the Tigers. Batuk, McCann, and Hicks against Mejia. First pitch, long foul. Down the right field line, 0-1.
So far, we're looking at a strike-throwing festival. We put these two starting pitchers at the county fair, knocking down the milk jugs. There's no more stuffed animals left by the second inning.
Take home all the prizes. Rare ball thrown by Mejia, 1-1. Batuk against Mejia, 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts. And Mejia's 2 starts earlier this season against the Tigers. Buxton, 1 away. So far against Mejia, 4 flyouts. All 4 outs he has recorded in the air to the outfield. Walked Miguel Cabrera in the first inning. So here's James McCann, Tigers catcher, with 1 away. Batting .316 since the All-Star break.
Well, you mentioned the fly balls. That reminds me of Mejia's nickname, Volador, which essentially means flying things. Now, when I look at, he's a pretty sturdy guy, right? I usually don't think of, getting off the ground or a big vertical. But he told me it came from when he was a kid in the Dominican, riding his bike around. He said he was always doing jumps, flying through puddles. We called him the Volador. Stuck.
The flying thing.
The flying thing. Hey, if you can pitch like you were riding your bike at like 9 years old, sitting on your Stingray bike with a banana seat. Remember those? Are you old enough to remember those bikes?
I do.
Not a care in the world. And thinking you were pretty darn cool, too.
I know you own one.
I did. I think that's the last time I was cool, or thought I was. That's a great attitude to have on the mound.
Mejia falls behind 3-1 with John Hicks waiting on deck. Polanco. 2 out. What's impressed you the most, Tom, about the Twins this season?
You mentioned Buxton and defense. I think, to me, the fastest way to improve is defensively. And I think that's where the numbers show the Twins have really improved this year. And again, Buxton can take care of a lot of that by himself in center field. He's really that good. Dozier at second base, premier defender. Mauer's done a really nice job defensively this year at first base. Only the Rangers strike out fewer batters than do the Twins staff. It's been true for years with the Minnesota pitchers. So you better have a good defense if you don't have a strikeout staff.
Now 2-1 on Hicks. Hicks spent a little bit of time in the Twins organization last year. April of 2016, he played in 9 games for AAA Rochester, and then he was claimed on waivers by the Tigers. Up the middle, base hit, center field. First hit of the game for the Tigers. They have a 2-out base runner for the second straight inning.
Watch Hicks in his stance at the plate. Watch how well he uses his legs. Breaking ball left up there. If that reminds you of Kyle Seager, there's a reason for it. In 2015, late in the year, he came up with Seattle and he hung around Seager and he saw how well Seager used the lower half. To me, their stances and approaches now very similar. Kind of coiling the lower half, using the legs very well. And that time you mentioned with Minnesota, he was just kind of figuring things out with the approach. Had a good year offensively this year in Detroit's system.
First hit in his last 10 at bats. There's Jacoby Jones. Batting just 170. Does have a hit in 3 straight games. Jones, the number 8 hitter for Brad Ausmus tonight. Tigers, like the Twins, have lost 3 straight.
You can see why the Twins like Mejia's stuff. You've seen him already here, just 2 innings into the game, using all quadrants of the strike zone. In and out, down and up, and just trusting Jason Castro back there. You won't see many shakes, if any, on the veteran catcher.
Jones strikes out to end the inning. First strikeout for Mejia. We head to the 3rd, scoreless in Detroit. This postseason, get ready for excitement, drama, and thrilling plays. The baseball postseason begins October 3rd. Go to MLB.com/postseason for a full schedule. Jason Castro leading off for the Twins here in the top of the 3rd inning. Just 1 for 8 lifetime against Jordan Zimmerman. Each team with 1 base hit over the first 2 innings.
Kenny, we talked about throwing strikes through 2 innings. These pitchers, 73% strikes.
62 pitches, 45 strikes for Mejia and Zimmerman over the first 2 innings. Ball 2 to Castro.
You throw 2/3 strikes, I mean, that's premier. Right around 60 is where you should be. Well above that.
Zimmerman, as we mentioned, pitching for the first time in nearly 3 weeks due to some neck issues. He has the highest earned run average of his career, over 6. Over his last 6 starts, his ERA is over 9. He's allowed the most earned runs in all of baseball. And he walks the leadoff man Castro here in the top of the 3rd inning.
So it's been a rough going here in Detroit, especially considering he started his career here with 24 1/3 scoreless innings. Mostly related to health. That neck injury has bothered him throughout this season. This is a big start for him in terms of peace of mind. That injection that he got, maybe that's something the Tigers think could be used preventatively. Here they were reacting to the symptoms. We'll see. So far so good tonight how he reacts pitching after that nerve-blocking injection in the neck. I could barely say that. That hurts just talking about it.
It does.
Nice changeup right there. Zimmerman will not throw many of these. He'll throw them to lefties though, and Grossman way out in front. In the course of the game, you'll see only a handful of changeups from Zimmerman.
The 1-1 to Grossman. Fouls it off now 1-2.
Jordan's a guy who always, his MO is to throw it as hard as he can each pitch and come right at you. Nothing oblique or covert about what he does on the mound. Now you can do that throwing 95, 96. When you're throwing 91, as he was before the injection, that's extremely difficult.
High and tight, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Okay, I've always said to have success in the major leagues, you have to have 2 among 3 qualities: velocity, command, or deception. He has no deception. The way he throws, average stride, average release point, comes right at you. So he needs velocity and command.
Jones in center, 1 away. So Grossman is retired. Here's Brian Dozier flying to center his first time up. Leadoff walk to Castro, which is rare for Jordan Zimmerman. Among all active pitchers, he is at the top of the list, fewest walks per 9 innings.
Again, that's the difference between control and command. Yeah, you can fill up the strike zone, but commanding the baseball, putting it around the edges of the strike zone is next level.
Strike 1 to Dozier.
Against this guy, as you saw first time up in that pitch there, just make sure you keep that fastball belt and below. There is not a better high ball hitter with power in the game than Brian Dozier.
42 home runs for Dozier last season. He's hit 31 this year, including 5 his last 12 games here at Comerica Park over the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, and almost half, 36 of those home runs have been on high fastballs. Nobody else in baseball in these last 2 years has more than 24. And the reason he hits the high fastball so well, and so many guys struggle with it in today's game, he has such a strong right hand. His top hand is as strong as you will see. Now, Dustin Pedroia is in the same book for me. Ben Zobrist, very strong top hand hitter. This is a natural swing, is to have that right hand, take the right hand to the ball. He'll hinge it as he brings the ball back, and then keep the right hand, and then roll it over quickly as it passes through the zone.
Iglesias to second for 1, 6-4-3 double play to end the inning. Playoffs is on Fox as the Cubs look to fend off the rival Brewers in the NL Central. Angels continue their fight for the wild card against the AL West leading Astros. It's all Saturday, 12:30 Eastern, only on Fox. Angels lost today, so the Twins in that second wild card spot. Now with a 2-game lead on the Angels, 2.5 over the Rangers, 3.5 ahead of the Kansas City Royals.
It's not just scoreboard watching these days, as we found out with Paul Molitor, keeping track of scores in your competitors' games. I asked him if he stayed up late last night to get a score from the West Coast. Angels playing the Indians. He said no, he went to bed. Woke up in the morning, pulled out his phone. It wasn't the first thing that he did. I think he had his coffee first. And he said, you know when you get that hand in poker and you just kind of reveal that hand slowly and hope it's good news? That's what I did with my phone. It was good news.
I don't blame Paul for not staying up. He only slept about 4 hours the night before. Tuesday night, Twins had a night game in the Bronx against the Yankees, delayed by rain. Didn't get to sleep until about 2:30 in the morning, and then woke up around 7 for the afternoon game in New York yesterday.
So he had some catching up to do on the Z's. That's up to the minute, folks. 10 games left, separated by 2 games.
Yankees pulling 7 ahead of the Twins following their 3-game sweep of Minnesota. Right center. Buxton could not get to it. He usually does. So a leadoff double for Jose Iglesias here in the bottom of the third.
Hey, Iglesias got good wheels. He was thinking about 3. His fastball really not up as much as Mejia wanted it. That fastball is easier to hit, mid-zone and even down. Huge outfield here at center field. Buxton did cut it off before it got to the wall. Watch Iglesias. He's thinking 3 right here, but Buxton tracks it down, and time to test the brakes.
.30-second double for Iglesias. Second hit for the Tigers off Mejia. Here's Kinsler, fly to right, his first time up.
He just called a balk on him, and I'm not sure Mejia thought time was in play right there. Kinsler was in the box, umpire was set to go.
So Iglesias awarded third base on the balk.
It's like playing poker, you better not flinch. All it took was a flinch for the balk. And with no outs, Minnesota will play the infield back.
Mejia committing his second balk of the season. A bouncer, nice play by Escobar. Fires across to retire Kinsler.
Let's see how that runner moved up to third base. You see, time is in right here. And that little bit of flinch. You see that knee buckle? He was just about to come set. So what did I do? That's what you do as a kid. You got cookie crumbs all over your mouth. Your mother asks you, did you take those cookies? What did I do? Oh, we got you. Now you bring the infield in with 1 out. Play the infield back with no outs because you're defending the big inning. Right now you're aggressive with 1 out. That was a big out Mejia picked up.
Candelario fly to center, his first time up. Takes ball 1 from Mejia. Acquired from the Cubs in late July. He's reached base in 18 of his 19 games with the Tigers.
I would not expect the Tigers to have a contact play on here. Maybe if you're down in the order, but with Miggy Cabrera on deck and no trail runner, I would say you would instruct Iglesias to see the ball through the infield here, or to read a weakly top base hit. That would be his call.
.20 from Mejia, in for strike 1. Infield in, 1 out, runner on third. No score, bottom of the third inning. 2-2.
See if he doubles up on that slider. As I said, my scouting report on him is that's where he likes to go with 2 strikes. Get a good feel for that slider. You see him today working up and down. 4-seamers up, sliders down.
Two from Mejia. Just foul.
Came back with the fastball in and by about a foot. Goes foul.
Iglesias leadoff double, moved to third on a balk. Kinsler grounded out. Candelario, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Infield in. And this one stays fair. Rolls into the left field corner. Iglesias scores easily. A double for Candelario. Drives in his 9th run of the season. Tigers lead 1-0.
Well, you can see why the Tigers really like his approach at the plate. Previous pitch, fastball in at 93 with 2 strikes, and he was still quick enough, maybe a little too quick to pull it. Now he tries to go in with the breaking ball. That pitch, to be effective, has to be below the strike zone, has to start where it ended up and get down towards the back foot. That stayed up where Candelario could get it. But the way he covered 2 strike pitches at 93 and 87, very impressive advanced approach. Kid's got a really good baseball IQ.
Now Cabrera, who walked his first time up. So 2 doubles in the inning for the Tigers. They take a 1-0 lead. Miguel Cabrera, 41 career home runs against the Minnesota Twins, most among all active players. .462 for his career. 2-1.
It has not been a typical Miggy Cabrera year. Health of his back has something to do with that. But one thing he's done this year well is hit left-handed pitching. .330 against lefties this year. See a steady diet of breaking balls here. I asked Miggy before the game. I noticed he has seen a career high percentage of breaking balls and has really struggled against them. And he said he can't tell the difference in terms of the quantity of breaking balls, but certainly the data shows he has struggled this year, and he's typically a great breaking ball hitter. You see the difference there. And just to give you an example, against curveballs this year, Miguel Cabrera is hitting .056, 3 hits all year on curveballs.
Wow.
Looked to me like he's sitting breaking ball in this at bat, the way he fouled off that fastball so late, hitting it out of Castro's glove. You see that as a pitcher, the temptation is to go in with the fastball. With Mejia, I would go up fastball, make sure it's out of the zone.
Cabrera down on strikes. 2 away, second strikeout for Mejia.
Well, he stayed with that 2 2-strike slider. This is a good one. This is the one he wanted to throw to Candelario. That's the one. Starts a strike. Watch it dive out of the zone. Perfectly thrown.
So with 2 away, here's Castellanos. Fly to right back in the first inning. We mentioned earlier, Castellanos with a hit in 17 consecutive games. Candelario takes his lead off second. Strike 1.
That's a great call by Castro. This is a guy who's a run producer. Loves to hit with runners on base. Extremely aggressive. Sitting first pitch fastball. Goes soft with the changeup first pitch.
One to Castellanos. Polanco to Bauer, and that will do it for the Tigers, but they take the lead as we head to the 4th in Detroit.
About finish on pitches. That's what Jason Castro is talking about with that slider. Make sure you get out in front and finish that slider, because the one he threw to Candelario didn't have bite, wasn't finished. See that action right there? Get out, extend, finish the pitch. The difference is that small between the slider he threw to Candelario, hit for the double, and the slider he hit to threw to Miggy Cabrera for the strikeout. I'd love to see that from your veteran catcher, the young pitcher.
Joe Mauer singled to left his first time up, extending his hitting streak to 6 games. We mentioned the 13-pitch at bat, longest of Mauer's career yesterday against the Yankees. Previously, Mauer had a pair of 12-pitch at bats, both against the Tigers. One against Justin Verlander, the other Max Scherzer. Clips those by one extra pitch yesterday.
Well, I think that was the first game he got to see Severino. He told me he was really impressed with the young right-hander stuff. Of course, he saw a lot of it, just one at bat.
Bauer with his second hit of the game, another single into left field.
Well, one of the highest contact hitters in the game. Not necessarily at all a pull hitter. His game is up the middle and this way with 2 strikes. Let the ball travel. You will rarely see Joe Mauer out on a front foot. Zimmerman's trying to do that with the off-speed pitch. But he's so quick that he's able to hit the ball deep. You see the hits by direction. Just to give you an idea, when he hits the ball up the middle, he hits 399. To the pole field, he's down in the low 200s.
Polanco fly to left, his first at bat.
And Kenny, I believe it's all about that. You ever hear about the invention Joe Mauer had as a kid? The Mauer quick swing. There's a contraption he built with some PVC pipes that would just drop a baseball, almost like someone was throwing soft toss to you, but you could do it by yourself. And you had to react so quickly to the ball being dropped.
Base hit into right field off the bat of Polanco. Bauer to second, so the Twins with 2 on and nobody out here in the 4th.
Polanco, another high contact hitter. Mauer, Polanco in the top 5 in the league in making contact. Right on top of that pitch up in the zone. No chance for Mauer to get to third once he had to let the ball cross.
Four-game hit streak for Polanco. So here's Eddie Rosario, who faced 11 pitches from Zimmerman in the first inning. He fouled off 6 in a row to stay alive, and then he struck out.
You should start him soft here. And he took a fastball. I'm surprised. Rosario, really aggressive hitter. In a run-scoring situation, moved up to 4th in the order. I'll tell you how aggressive he is. Last year, the Cleveland Indians, of course, in the same division, they saw him a lot, had a team rule for all the pitchers on the Indian staff. Example of his aggressiveness. Anybody who walked this man was immediately fined $1,000.
Wow.
And there were 2 walks by Indians pitchers last year of Eddie Rosario. That's a pretty hefty fine. That's motivation for you. 1 walk equals a grand.
He's walked 32 times this season. 1 and 2.
That's what Jordan's trying to do. He did his job of getting ahead. Now you try to get him outside of the strike zone. Right on top of the plate, he has the ability to take the fastball away and hook it out.
He strikes out for the 2nd time tonight. 1 away.
Yeah, these are the at-bats this week we've seen too much of out of the Minnesota Twins. Runners on base, young hitters wanting to do too much and getting themselves out of the strike zone. It's a great job by Zimmerman, capitalizing on youthfulness, anxiety. The bigger the game gets, the smaller you have to think.
Here's Escobar, grounded to second. His first time up, takes strike 1. By the way, this season, Tom, against Cleveland, Rosario, 51 at bats, only 2 walks.
Ka-ching, ka-ching. It's $2,000.
2 last year in 56 at bats.
Once again, Zimmerman ahead 0-2.
Two on, one out. Back-to-back singles leading off the inning. Bauer and Polanco. And now another base hit off the bat of Escobar. Here comes Bauer heading home. Twins have tied the game at 1. 64th run batted in of the season for Eduardo Escobar.
Think small. Here it is. 2-strike. Good 2-strike approach. It's a nasty pitch from Zimmerman. And Escobar doesn't try to do too much with it.
So Bauer with 2 hits, and he has the Twins' first run. Second and third, still only 1 out for Max Kepler. First pitch, he pops it up behind second base. Iglesias makes the play for out number 2.
You know, it's an empty at bat by Kepler, but I'm okay with it. You know, I mentioned at the top to be aggressive early on fastballs. He's looking to drive something in the air. Got a fastball up, just missed it underneath it.
So now with 2 away, here's Buxton. Fly to center back in the second inning. Up the middle, base hit. Polanco scores. Here comes Escobar. Twins take a 3-1 lead as Buxton drives in a pair. His 47th and 48th runs batted in of the season.
Once again, aggressive on early fastballs. Love the approach. And I love the hitting approach of Buxton. See how that ball was squared up so much? That ball wasn't even rotating off the bat. The 2 great approaches there, Escobar and Buxton. Keeping the line moving.
Jason Castro walked his first time up. Buxton back in. He has 26 steals, including 21 straight, 1 shy of matching the franchise record. Chuck Knobloch, 94. Matt Lawton, 2000. Both stole 22 straight.
Should be running somewhere in this sequence. Maybe not first pitch.
There he goes. Throw down to second is not in time, and Byron Buxton ties the Twins franchise record, his 22nd consecutive steal.
The reason I didn't think he was running first pitch, he didn't have much of a lead. Watch the jump. And more than anything, he's just going to outrun the baseball. Buxton and Billy Hamilton, the 2 fastest men in baseball. You can do everything perfectly as a catcher and still not get him.
Now 27 of 28. In the dirt, blocked by McCann. 1-1.
You know, Kenny, I'm a big fan of stolen base guys who get those bags when you know they should be running. That's a situation, 2 outs. You're not playing for 2 more hits. You're going to play for 1 more hit by getting to second base, but get there early in the count. Give Kepler the entire, or Castro the entire at bat here to work with a runner on second. In other words, there's some guys who will wait till breaking ball counts, maybe 2 strikes, 2 outs. You may get the bag, but you don't give your hitter the entire at bat to work for a base hit to get the run in.
Tom, the only catcher to throw out Buxton attempting to steal this season, Wellington Castillo of the Orioles.
Yeah, that's something to brag about this winter.
Zimmerman missing high, now 2-2 on Castro. 3 runs on 4 hits here in the 4th inning for the Minnesota Twins. Robbie Grossman waiting on deck.
See this inning now as Zimmerman really gets stressed here, pitching out of the stretch often this inning. Velocity going down a tick or two.
23rd pitch of the inning from Zimmerman. He strikes out Castro to end the inning, but the Twins score 3. Middle of the 4th in Detroit. Football weekend begins tomorrow. 23rd ranked Utah takes on Arizona on FS1. Saturday on Fox, it's a doubleheader beginning with a Big Ten showdown. Purdue looks to derail number 8 Michigan at 4 Eastern. And then 8 Eastern, Notre Dame and Michigan State resume their classic rivalry in East Lansing. College football on FS1 and Fox, where every game is everything. College football game at Target Field this weekend, Tom, for the first time in Minneapolis.
Yeah, St. Thomas is playing there. Is that it? Home game? Be careful with the turf, guys.
That's right.
Well, that grounds crew will be watching you.
Mikey Botuk leading off for the Tigers. Catch the Monday night game, Lions and Giants. Matthew Stafford incorporated Clayton Kershaw into one of his calls at the line. His high school teammate.
Yeah,
Stafford buddy
was his catcher. Kershaw to Stafford.
On one of the plays, Stafford yelled out, Kershaw, Kershaw, against the Giants on Monday night.
That's when you know you've made it, huh? If you're a question on Jeopardy, or you're a call at the line in an NFL game.
Just ask the city of Omaha. By the way, Stafford and Kershaw, the 2 highest paid players in their respective sports.
How about that? Must be a nice high school reunion when they come back to town.
Highland Park, Texas. Off the glove of Escobar. Leadoff man out for the Tigers here in the fourth.
What you call overspin. He does the right thing by trying to field a longer hop. When this ball bounces the second time, it's going to pick up speed. You know, by the laws of physics, it's probably not true, but the hop does have more overspin on the second bounce. He did the right thing, trying to buy himself a little more time. It just ate him up a little bit.
So Montook on at first. Here's McCann, grounded out to short, his first time up. Still awaiting word from the official scorer as to whether it will be a hit or an error. It has been ruled an error, finally up on the board. Sixth of the season committed by Escobar.
That's a tough error, but I can agree with that one.
McCann down the right field line, foul. Tigers scored a run at the bottom of the third, a couple of doubles. And Delario driving in Iglesias. And then the Twins would come back and score 3 for Mejia in the top of the fourth inning. One to McCann, another foul.
You know, this is where managing in September is so different. Remember, we talked about a short leash on Mejia, especially 11 days left in the season. You need to get your bullpen ready if this inning, the trouble in this inning extends. July and August, you have a lot more rope. Rope is running out.
Another foul off to the right side. Dylan G in the Twins pen.
That's the formula if you're facing Detroit with a lefty, with all these righties in the lineup. Make sure you have a right-hander who give you length behind your left-handed starter. To me, G is warming up. He will be in this game at some point.
Down the right field line, foul once again. 33 foul balls, Tom, already over the first 4 innings.
It's a lot of souvenirs. There you go. Magic in those baseballs, huh?
33 of them tonight. And many more to come. This one will be playable. Dozier calls off Mauer. McCann is retired.
You know, you can talk about finish on pitches. I use the word conviction. Let's see the difference in 2 sliders. Here's one to Candelario that he doesn't have the same finish. You see where the arm decelerates early? Now he's going to throw a better one, and there's more finish. Watch the arm come through. A longer finish on the pitch. That's the difference between throwing a slider that's toothless and throwing a slider with bite. Finish the pitch. That's literally finishing it by getting out there and having the hand continue. A lot of times when you aim the pitch, you will not finish the pitch, and that's what happened to Candelario. Good job adjusting by Mejia.
Swing and a miss by Hicks. 0-1. Singled to center field his first time up. Disappointing last couple of months for the Tigers. When the Tigers woke up, Tom, on June 8th, a little over 3 months ago, Twins were in first place. Indians were 1 game back, and the Tigers were a game and a half out. On June 8th, they were a half game behind the Cleveland Indians.
You sure that was this year? Seems like a very long time ago. Of course, many have departed here in the course of the season. J.D. Martinez, Justin Upton, Justin Wilson, Justin Verlander. Transition time in Detroit. It's opportunity time for a lot of people with all of these departures.
So if your name is Justin, you're out of here.
Yeah.
Alex Avila, son of the general manager, Al Avila, and J.D. Martinez. Hicks down on strikes, third strikeout for Mejia. Speaking of those Indians, with that win over the Angels today, they've now won 27 of 28. First team to do that since the 1884 Providence Grays, who won the World Series, led by Old Haas Radbourn, who won 59 games that year.
Or what the World Series was back in the 19th
Yes.
century, right? Of course, that was in the National League, so no one's ever played baseball like this in the history of the American League. Kenny, it's not just winning all these games, but one, it's a clean version of baseball that they're playing. Remarkable. They will set the all-time record for strikeouts by a pitching staff, strikeout to walk ratio. Team without weakness right now.
27 of 28. Kobe Jones struck out his first time up. This is Buxton. Tigers are retired to the fourth, trailing the Twins 3-1. Major League Baseball on FS1 is sponsored by Budweiser, who reminds you, don't drive drunk. And by the Hartford, when the unexpected strikes, the Hartford strikes back with small business insurance. We move to the fifth here in Detroit, Comerica Park. Kenny Albert, Tom Verducci. Jordan Zimmerman, Tigers starter, lasted 4 innings, allowing 3 runs on 5 base hits. Replaced by the 27-year-old right-hander from down under, Warwick Southpole, facing Robbie Grossman, who takes ball 1. Southpole's 42nd appearance.
Will feature a slider to right-handers, curveball to left-handers. There's the 2-seamer running away, good 4-seamer as well.
The Tigers into the bullpen early once again. Tigers with the worst earned run average in all of baseball, over 5. Zimmerman, his first start in 19 days. 69 pitches, 3 runs in the 4th inning. What a brilliant pitching performance on Sunday from Matthew Boyd of the Tigers.
Grossman's laughing right there because of the throw back to Southpole from McCann. I think you hit it bad, reminiscent of the postseason in Toronto.
Right. Game 5 2 years ago. And that was, there it is.
That's only the second time I've seen that happen all these years. Of course, there was no chaos because there was nobody on base. Toronto, different story.
It was Russell Martin.
Chu, I believe, for the Rangers at bat. Texas took the lead. And anger rained down from above at Sky Dome or Rogers Center.
A 43-minute inning. Jose Bautista with the home run on the bat flip.
Bat flip seen around the world. Here, merely a chuckle from Robbie Grossman.
Payoff pitch to Grossman. Ball 4, leadoff walk issued by Southpole. Twins have the leadoff man on for the 3rd straight inning.
And I'll give Zimmerman a little bit credit for a step forward, considering all the health issues he's gone through this year with the neck and the shoulder. But he came out looking really pretty good. Inning 93, 94. But that 4th inning, he got taxed. The fastball was flat, velocity down. And that's been the story this year. His fastball has gotten tagged this year.
Here's Dozier 0 for 2, grounded into a double play his last time up. As that throw hit the bat of Grossman, I mentioned Matthew Boyd, 8 2/3, no-hit ball for the Tigers on Sunday against the White Sox.
That's the kind of year it's been, huh? For Detroit, pitches an absolute gem and loses it just at the end. Reminds me of the year the Tigers lost 109 games. Sparky Anderson said we were so bad we couldn't even lose right because they were going for the record of 110 losses. There's Matt Boyd, challenged by his manager Brad Ausmus about a month ago, and he has responded, changing his mechanics, being much more aggressive on the mound, and most importantly, better results.
Scheduled to start game 3 of this series on Saturday against Irvin Santana. 1-2 on Dozier. Joe Mauer waiting on deck. Warwick Southpole on in relief of Jordan Zimmerman. With the Twins leading the Tigers 3-1 in the 5th. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Southpole searching for command right now. Actually, to his benefit, he's been wild outside of the strike zone so far. The danger before he gets locked in is getting wild in the zone, especially against Brian Dozier.
Long foul off to the right side. Count remains 2-2. Leadoff walk to Grossman. After the Twins scored their 3 runs in the top of the 4th inning. Ten games remaining for Minnesota, including this one, 7 against Detroit. Two-game lead over the Angels in the battle for the 2nd wild card. Yankees a very comfortable 7-game advantage over the Twins.
Let's see if Molitor chooses to start the runner right here. I would. I had confidence in Dozier making contact right here.
There goes Grossman. Dozier strikes out. And Grossman is in safely at second. So one away as Joe Bauer steps to the plate. Couple of hits, single to left field in the first inning. Another single to left in the fourth. He would come around and score. Every ounce counts. Sponsored by Gatorade.
Well, you look up professional hitter in the dictionary, and there's a picture of this man right there. Now, 10 years ago, you would say he was state of the art as a hitter in Major League Baseball. Flat swing, hits the ball late, brings the barrel to the baseball with an economy of movement. It's now an old school approach. State of the art now is Josh Donaldson, Chris Bryant, Joey Gallo. 3 true outcomes: home runs, strikeouts, walks. This guy leads the American League in making contact. 87% of the time when he swings, he's going to make contact. And that's why he's so tough in this spot with runners on base.
Two hits today, now has 1,980 base hits in his career. Grossman in scoring position, 1 out.
You know, Kenny, I think a lot of people, especially in today's game, do a disservice to Joe Mauer by measuring him by his contract and his position, that he should be something that he is not, instead of just enjoying and appreciating what he is, and that is a premier contact hitter. As good as anybody in the game at getting bat on ball.
3-1.
You know you have to throw him strikes. How close this pitch is, and he spits on it.
One from Southpaw, missing inside. Ball 4, second walk of the inning. So now Polanco with runners on first and second, 1 out. Single came around to score in the 4th inning.
Struggling to find the zone right here. Kenny mentioned the ERA for Detroit, Major League high. It's not getting any better in September. Brad Ausmus has a lot of choices in that bullpen right now, but not many good ones because the starters don't give him a lot of length. We're deep into the season for a lot of these young pitchers. Some hitting that fatigue point.
There's Blaine Hardy.
So you keep searching for someone to put a Band-Aid on the game, hold it in check. A lot of these September games have just gotten away from Detroit.
These two teams combined with 27 relief pitchers on their rosters.
You're not saying we're going to see all of them, are you?
Hope not. Southpaw missing inside to Polanco, 2-1. 23rd pitch of the inning as Polanco fouls it off. Leadoff walk to Grossman. Stole second as Dozier struck out. And then southpaw walked Bauer. 2 on, 1 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Twins with a 3-1 lead in the 5th. There's Grossman and Bauer. Two from southpaw. Base hit left field. Grossman will hold it third, so the Twins have loaded the bases for Eddie Rosario.
Ausmus giving the signal there, universal sign for tuck it up, guys. Buy me a little more time right here. We talked about Rosario's aggressiveness. Is he ready? Yeah, he's ready. Bases loaded. Rosario can take this at bat as if the count starts at 2-0. Just keyhole fastball. You have to understand, bases loaded. The pitcher is the one in trouble, not the hitter. Enough time wasted to make a change.
Inspire all forms of baseball and softball participation, making play opportunities available and fun for everyone. To learn more, go to playball.org. Twins with a 3-1 lead, and they've loaded the bases here in the 5th inning as Eddie Rosario steps in against 30-year-old left-hander Blaine Hardy. First pitch, base hit right field. Twins extend their lead as Grossman crosses the plate. It's now 4-1 Minnesota.
Yeah, Hardy, typically you see fastballs in, breaking balls away. That was breaking ball in. And Polanco jumped all over it. I said treat it like it's 2-0. That's what he did. You get a pitch up like that. This pitch designed to be down and away. You can see the target, the glove moving by McCann all the way across the plate. Polanco Nice job not letting that pass, or Rosario not letting that pass.
Rosario drives in his 73rd run.
Hey, look who's here tonight. Oh wait, that's not him.
Escobar pops it up, foul territory. Cabrera will have room. Route number 2. Right before the game, we were checking out all of the different jerseys, but we didn't see that one.
No. We saw a lot of former Tigers jerseys.
A couple of Bobby Higginsons. Many Justin Verlanders.
JD Martinez. I saw Rocky Colavito. Great baseball town with great baseball history, real and imagined.
There's Rocky. Al Kaline.
Number 6.
There's Max Kepler. But no Providence Grays jerseys here today. Gary Sheffield. Many Verlanders.
Many. I'd say that's the most popular one.
Maybe it was the real Kid Rock.
Got cleaned up, I think. Brandon Inge, very popular here. Not active, but still current. Michael Fulmer, Rookie of the Year from last year.
Currently on the DL. Kepler went around 1 and 2. Gary Davis, crew chief. Second appearance for Hardy. High and tight, 2 and 2. Bases loaded, 2 outs, 1 run in for the Twins here in the 5th. Kinsler, the first to end the inning. Twins score a run, but they strand 3. 4-1 Minnesota. The MLB postseason begins October 3rd with the American League Wild Card on ESPN. October 4th, the National League Wild Card on TBS. Then October 5th, The American League Division Series begins on FS1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Twins lead the Tigers 4-1. Bottom of the 5th inning in Detroit. Okay, Jose Iglesias leads off for the Tigers. Doubled, came around to score. Tigers' only run back in the 3rd inning. Iglesias, Kinsler, Candelario against Alberto Mejia, making his 20th start of the season and of his major league career.
He's throwing the ball much better as the game went on. Started really good, got better. Looked sharp last inning, returning to his strike throwing ways.
2-1.
And we saw Rosario get that hit. I was talking to Eddie before the game. Of course, he's from Guayama, Puerto Rico. He said he still has been able to get in contact with some family and friends, relatives on the island. There's Hurricane Maria sweeping through there. Just the devastation when you think, Kenny, about an island completely without power. Unimaginable what those poor people are going through. Certainly they're in our thoughts and prayers.
The 2-2 from Mejia to Iglesias. Another foul.
Yeah, that hurt. Next time, bring the glove. How many souvenirs are we up to? Probably getting near 40, huh?
Keeping statistician Marty Aronoff busy tonight. Iglesias strikes out. 1 away. Our thoughts and prayers, Tom, also with the young girl who was hit by a foul ball yesterday at Yankee Stadium in the game against the Twins.
Yeah, no question. Hopefully that young girl is okay. Certainly has reignited the debate about extending the nettings behind the plate to the sides. So the netting here advances to the near side of each dugout. Many people would like to see that extended to the far end of the dugout as well. Sounds like a good idea to me. Just know this, that a lot of the players, coaches, staffs, they will not have their families sit in those unprotected areas.
Right.
All the family sections in every ballpark will be behind home plate, behind the screen, or even a little farther back. But you must pay attention, especially if you're on the offside to a hitter. There, he just pulled one down the line, but generally, right-handed hitters heads up on the right field side for the screamers coming in.
And one of the problems with technology and iPhones, a lot of people are looking down at their phones during the game.
Well, no question. It's a great way, actually, to enjoy a game. Even though you're at the game, there are certain things you can follow with apps that enhance your enjoyment of the game, but it does divert your attention.
Second straight strikeout for Mejia. You mentioned players' families. CC Sabathia was quoted today. He said his family will always sit behind the screen every time they go to a game.
See, those young people have their gloves ready there, but I'm telling you, those balls are coming in at upwards of 80 to 90 miles an hour.
There's Candelario, drove in the Tigers' run back in the 3rd inning. He reaches base for the 2nd time in tonight's game. Second hit for Candelario tonight. 2-out base runner for the Tigers. Here comes Paul Molitor, and that will be all for Mejia. So he will leave 1 out shy of becoming eligible to pick up the win.
Suddenly those stats don't matter this time of year. Roberto Mejia, a master of stretching the strike zone vertically. Fastballs up, sliders down, occasionally mixing in changeups down right there. But his ability to change the eye level of hitters with that four-seamer up, and especially when he got to 2 strikes, the go-to pitch was the slider. I told you, short story, and there you go now. This is the Twins, since they've been in Minnesota. Most starts of 5 innings or less. Now keep in mind, Mejia is making only his 20th start. That's 14 of his 20 starts. Pete Redfern had many more than that. Actually, he was the first pitcher, a former #1 pick at USC, first pitcher to start at the Metrodome.
So Mejia exits. The veteran right-hander Dylan G on to face Miguel Cabrera with the runner on first and 2 outs. Four appearances with Texas this season, his 12th as a member of the Twins. And how about Cabrera, Tom? Lifetime against G, 4 for 6, 2 home runs, he's driven in 4.
Let's see if he throws him any fastballs in the sequence here. I have to show him one. There's one right there. I mentioned before about G when he was up that he would pitch in this game. He's not the kind of guy, as a former starter, you want to get up a couple of times and then get in the game. Mahler running this game almost like an NFL coach with a script of his first 10 to 15 plays. Lefty Mejia to start, less than 5, and then hurry the right-hander into the game against this right-handed heavy lineup.
G, 128 career starts, most of them with the Mets. 14 starts for the Royals last year. 4 this year, 3 of the 4 with the Twins. A 1-2 to Cabrera. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's the pitch he wanted. How's that bat sound? Amazing. Carlos Delgado was one of the first ones I saw. Look at these. Hogging the camera. Just in case you didn't know who was coming up next. Big number 9.
Can't say that he wants FaceTime. It's his back. Up the middle, base hit, Miguel Cabrera. Candelario to second, so the Tigers threatening with 2 outs here in the 5th. Remember, Mejia struck out the first 2 Tigers he faced in this inning. Now they have runners on first and second.
They went soft with the changeup, just didn't get it down enough to a very good hitter, of course, on balance. And a little limp in that run right there. I mentioned Miggy battling injuries all year. But I'm sure Paul Molitor had it in his head, as well as Mejia threw, that if this inning got to Cabrera, G was in the game. Mejia was 1 out short of qualifying for the win.
Castellanos 0 for 2. Strike 1.
So I was going to say that Delgado was the first one I was around, I'm sure it's been around forever, who would tap his bats like that and listen to the sound of the wood. I mean, to me, it's probably like an expert violin maker. A certain sound of the wood. There's a good sound and a bad sound.
Castellanos has made some good sounds 17 straight games.
Well, I get the listening to your bat. How about the smelling of your bat, too? You see guys do that on foul balls. Some believe that there is a burning smell, the seams, the friction of the seams off the wood of the bat creating the burning smell. People smell their bat. I mean, who knew wood, simple wood, right, could have such mystical qualities? Sounds, smells, good luck, bad karma. There's another souvenir, by the way, Kenny.
We're up above 40.
I'm telling you, everybody's going home with one tonight.
42, says Marty Aronoff. 42 foul balls.
About how many foul balls I hit around the golf.
Buxton on the run, in center, makes the play to end the inning. Tigers strand 2. We head to the 6th. 4-1 Minnesota.
His season. Well, let me show you a mechanical change. Major one that made two things come to mind: effort and balance. First of all, open stance here, and watch the leg kick. Look how high it is off the ground. And watch his back leg leave, totally off balance. Now, straight on neutral stance. Watch this, foot barely comes off the ground. And I want you to look at his balance on the back side. He's much better on his backside and driving through the baseball. Less effort, better balance, completely different hitter. Kenny, this is the kind of change a lot of hitters will need an entire offseason to make the full adjustment. He did this in season on the fly. Now, when he first did it back in May, all they were trying to do was to get him just to put the ball in play. You know, with his speed, if he mishits a baseball, he's going to be on base, but he had so much swing and miss and strikeouts in his game. That's why they took away the leg kick, worked on the better balance. He was basically playing pepper with the baseball. And then as June rolled into July, you saw him start driving the ball out of the park as he became comfortable.
Buxton retired. Drove in a couple of runs back in the fourth inning. He was batting .195, Tom, on July 3rd. Since then, over the last 2.5 months, .321 average.
Yep, and the big difference for me is just putting a ball in play. Even a ball like that, simple ground ball, right? He puts pressure on infielders. The clock speeds up because of his speed down the line. Now, when you talk about least amount of effort into a swing, nobody better than his manager, Paul Molitor. I mean, that guy, all he did was just swing. When he decided to swing, he had no moving parts.
Castro grounds out to the second baseman Kinsler for out number 2. Time for a game break. To Los Angeles we go. Mike Hill. Mike. Thanks, Mike. Cubs have won 7 of their last 10. Cubs sort of under the radar this year with all the talk about the Dodgers and now the Indian streak.
Well, they finally have responded to a challenge. I don't think they've been challenged all year, but when St. Louis came to Wrigley last weekend, and now this series, and this game is not over tonight, of course, they've responded. And until really these last 2 weeks, I have not felt like the Chicago Cubs have played with urgency. They've played well enough to be in first place at this point. But this may be the best that they've played, although they've got to get John Lester straightened out.
Bounce foul off to the right side.
So, you know, getting back to Molitor and his approach at the plate, he told me, listen, I didn't try to get this guy Buxton to copy me by the way I hit. Really, James Rouse, the hitting coach, and I talked to him about, listen, you've been up and down between the majors and the minors. We don't want to send you down again. We may have to. It's time to try something else and give Buxton credit. Not only tried it, but adapted quickly.
Grossman gets a piece of it.
He's hit all over the lineup. Early this week at Yankee Stadium, he was 3rd, then he was 5th. Tonight he's 7th. You know, in spring training, Paul Molitor batted him 3rd after he had that big breakout in September last year as a vote of confidence more than anything. To send a message, I believe in you. You are a good hitter. And Paul knew, he'd probably have to move him out. He wasn't quite ready for full-time duty in the 3-hole. But I like the idea of instilling confidence in a young player.
2-2 from Victor Alcantara. Grossman stays alive. Alcantara, the 4th pitcher of the night for the Tigers. Starter Jordan Zimmerman allowing 3 runs on 5 hits in 4 innings. Southpold and Hardy in the 5th. Count is now full with 2 away here in the top of the 6th inning. Dozier on deck. Should Grossman reach? Twins with a 4-1 lead, looking to extend their lead in the American League wild card race. Base hit into right field off the bat of Grossman. 2-out base runner for the Twins here in the 6th. So with Grossman out at first, here's Dozier. Dozier 0 for 3 tonight. Dozier and Kepler, the only Twins who have not reached base.
So old-time fans of the Twins, before that the Senators, might remember the name Joe Haynes. Today would have been his 100th birthday. Played for the Senators, later an executive with the Senators and the Minnesota Twins. As a player with the Senators, he married the owner's daughter.
Smart move.
How about that? The year they were getting married, his father-in-law to be traded him. Wedding still went off. Later was returned in a trade to the Senators. But how about that? Went to spring training. Thelma Griffith, the daughter, Clark Griffith, the owner of the Senators, was a secretary. You know, there's scouts who fill out reports on players. Well, she would see the reports, and she added to the scouting report, he's good looking too. Married him.
Well, the general manager of the Tigers traded his son this year.
That's right.
Al Avila, sending Alex to the Cubs.
There's Al. Joe Haynes, by the way, no longer with us, not 100 years old. He died at the age of 49 in Hopkins, Minnesota, shoveling snow. Had a heart attack. He was former All-Star pitcher. Became an executive vice president with the Senators and the Twins.
Grossman on the move. Payoff pitch. Dozier down the left field line, foul.
That's not just a souvenir. That's going to leave a mark. You see that?
Did he break the glasses?
Well, he got a souvenir. It wasn't the baseball. Yeah, hit me right here, right between the eyes.
Glasses look to be okay. He's hanging in there.
Thankfully, it hit the seats first. It's on the carom.
Grossman goes. Dozier takes ball 4. Alcantara retired the first 2 Twins he faced here in the 6th. Single off the bat of Grossman, and now Dozier walks. So Joe Mauer steps to the plate with 2 on and 2 out.
See that walkway between the mound and home plate? I don't think it was there when the game began. I think McCann wore it out. With these young relief pitchers just trying to help them navigate through an inning or an at-bat. Saphold and Alcantara just trying to find the strike zone tonight. Joe
Mauer takes ball 1. He's reached base 3 times. 2 base hits and a walk. One and one. Left field, long run for Mata, can't make the play. Grossman scores. Here comes Dozier. Mauer in at second with a double. He drives in 2. The Twins take a 6-1 lead. 400th career 2-base hit for Joe Mauer.
You bought a ticket for tonight's game. You got the add-on bonus of a hitting clinic by a master technician, Joe Mauer. Changeup. I talked about how he's able to let the ball get deep. So with off-speed pitches, which are designed to get a hitter out in front, it's almost impossible to do that with Joe Mauer. I want you to watch his balance and where he contacts the baseball. Deep in the strike zone, and he's on balance. With the head right above the center of the body there. Pitcher wants the hitter out in front with his weight going forward, and Mauer just doesn't do that on the off-speed pitches.
3 hits tonight. Scored a run. Now he's driven in 2. Double off Victor Alcantara, making his 4th major league appearance all this month. Acquired from the Angels during the offseason for Cameron Maybin. Strike 1 to Jorge Polanco. Polanco with a couple of hits, scored a run back in the 4th. Off the glove of Cabrera. Around third is Mauer. He will score. It is now a 7-1 Twins lead, and with his 2nd run today, Mauer now with 950 runs in his career, and that ties Rod Carew for 3rd on the all-time franchise list.
That's just a bullet. Just can't hit the pocket of Miggy's glove. It's got some hook action to it as well, and Mauer did a nice job running the bases. Scored without a throw.
So Polanco with a hit in each of the last 3 innings.
I mean, that's tough working through those 2 guys who don't swing and miss. Mauer and Polanco back to back. Been on base 7 times.
Miles J in the Tigers' pen. In the last 3 innings, the 4th, 5th, and 6th, Mauer and Polanco have both reached base 3 times.
Well, you're getting a little Cliff Notes version here of 2 months of Tigers baseball. You know, not a lot of length from the starting pitcher. That was expected from Zimmerman tonight. But Brad Ausmus just trying to find somebody who can hold the game in check and not let it get out of hand. But young, experienced pitchers struggling to find the strike zone night after night are making that harder and harder.
Twins scored 6 runs in their last series. In the 3 games against the Yankees, outscored 18-6. They already have 7 today over the first 6 innings. Rosario, right center. Jones under it. Twins add to their lead. 7-1 Minnesota, middle of the 6th. postseason push is with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. A 7-1 lead for the Twins. Bottom of the 6th inning. Mikey Matuk takes a called strike.
Sparky saw his number there, number 11. I was talking about Sparky today with Paul Molitor. Actually, Mikey Matuk figures into this. He had a 14-pitch at bat, culminating with a triple against the White Sox. I'll never forget, it was a game in '87. Dave Bergman hit a famous home run for the Tigers late in the pennant race against Toronto, Tiger Stadium. Monday Night Baseball. Remember that? Monday Night Baseball? I don't know how many pitches it was, but the at-bat seemed to go on forever. Bergman hit a home run. 13-pitch at bat, I'm being told. And Sparky said after the game it was the greatest at bat he had ever seen. And he probably said the same thing the next day, too, about somebody else's at bat. Quick with a quip and a quote and an anecdote. Sparky Anderson. One of my favorites is to talk baseball.
You had Saturday afternoon baseball at NBC, Monday night baseball on ABC, and that was it aside from your local teams. 2 national games per week.
So whatever happened in those games was a very big deal. Remember Mark Fidrich pitching on Monday Night Baseball at Tiger Stadium? The Tigers would rearrange their schedule to make sure that he pitched at home. And he was a sensation. Or as they said back then, a happening on national television. The Bird.
Start of the All-Star game.
One of my favorite SI covers of all time. Mark Fidrich and Big Bird.
Matuk is called out on strikes from Mikey to Mike. Mike Hill, take it away. We look forward to it. Thanks very much, Mike. Stick around for Whip Around following the Twins and the Tigers. National League wild card standings. Here's James McCann 0 for 2. Tom, I assume you did not write the feature in Sports Illustrated on the
Mark
Bird, Big Bird?
No.
You were what, 12
Slightly
years old at the time?
before my time.
Started a couple of years later.
Yeah, a few years.
So that could be the answer to a trivia question. Which Sesame Street character appeared on the cover of Sports Illustrated?
Well, that would also include me as one of those trivia questions. What SI writer has been featured on the cover?
Is that when you went to spring training with the Blue Jays?
That's it. You got it. 2005. It's a funny story. I figured, you know, I cover Major League Baseball. What better than to bring you as a fan closer to the game than me getting as close as I can to write about it? So I went to the Toronto Blue Jays and I had this idea. Let me go to spring training as a player, as an outfielder, do everything a player does for a week, and let me write about it. Figuring there's no way anybody's going to say yes to that, right? They not only said yes, they said, yeah, just let us know when you want to come in. So one of my first days I'm in camp, I'm in the batting cage hitting against Roy Halladay. He's blowing the ball like it's going to go through the cage. As I step into the cage, John Gibbons, the manager, says to me, well, hold on a second. I said, what's up? He said, you did sign a waiver, right? I said, no, I didn't. Why? He said, oh, no. He says, you're not only going to be writing about this team, you're going to wind up owning this team. Luckily, I made it through the week without getting hurt, without blowing out a hamstring. I stayed out of the trainer's room the entire week.
What's worth more on eBay? Sports Illustrated cover signed by Tom Verducci or Big Bird?
It's not even close. Now, but I can tell you in all seriousness, I'm glad I did it, because as much as this game looks hard, I think it does look hard on television, you know, to see the speed of the game up close is just remarkable. And I came back a couple years later and umpired a spring training game on the bases, 3 innings each at first, second, third. Same impression. Camera does not do the speed of the game justice.
Kepler in right. G retires the Tigers in order in the 6th. Minnesota hoping to be playing past game number 162. They lead tonight 7-1. Guys, watch every out-of-market regular season game live, plus get a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Miles J, the 5th pitcher of the night for the Tigers, making his 5th appearance for Detroit. 3rd out of the pen. Facing Eduardo Escobar, leading off for the Twins here in the 7th.
Yeah, you saw the 2 starts for Jay. He had been one of the pitchers under consideration to start tomorrow. I think Daniel Norris, being the other one, had been listed as TBD. And I would think in a perfect world, if you had a choice, you would go with the left-hander against Minnesota. Like Morris tomorrow.
Jay, a 25-year-old right-hander. Escobar with a single to left center. Once again to Los Angeles. What's happening, Mike Hill? All right, thanks very much, Mike. Here's Max Kepler with Escobar on it first, up the middle. Base hit off the bat of Kepler, who had been 0 for 3 tonight.
Ball almost looked like it went through Jay. This is the guy who falls off the mound toward the first base side. And just didn't have time on this rocket to get the glove up in front of him. See the finish where he's closed off to the plate. He's in no position to defend himself here. Pitchers have that feeling when they let the ball go. Fastball about thigh-high outer third of the plate. That's the lookout territory where it's going to come right back at you.
Jay's teammate Jeff Farrell in concussion protocol after he was hit earlier this week.
Not available tonight. 13 relievers listed.
Buxton drove in a couple of runs back in the fourth. 2 on, nobody out. Twins with 7 runs on 12 hits. Tigers 1 run, only 5 base hits.
Watch Buxton. He won't get set until the pitcher starts his movements. Just relax like he's waiting for a train or a bus. As soon as the pitcher moves, now he's going to get set. Relax. That's the word that comes to mind here. It's simple.
Jay quickly off the mound, fires to first to retire Buxton. Runners advance to second and third. Twins hoping to get back to the postseason for the first time since 2010. In the second wild card, 2-game advantage on the Angels. As a franchise, Twins have lost their last 6 postseason series, 4 of the 6 at the hands of the Yankees. And they are staring at a wild card game in the Bronx, should they get there. Twins have gone 1-8 at Yankee Stadium over the last 3 seasons.
That's been a house of horrors for them. You know, as good as they've looked at the plate tonight, good combination of patience and aggressiveness when the Tigers pitchers come into the zone. That's how bad they had looked against New York. We talked to Paul Molitor about that, yeah, he did see a little bit of that experience show up on the big stage in New York. That's a matchup, a rematch they would sign up for right now, in a place where they've had trouble. And I believe the guy to get the ball for them if they get there is Irvin Santana. If you grade them out by stuff, Jose Berrios is the better stuff. But Santana, who threw the ball well at Yankee Stadium on Monday, has more experience. He's the kind of guy, if he doesn't have his A stuff, Santana can still navigate a game. Barrios is still learning how to do that. And also his first full season in the big leagues, the gas tank is starting to get a little bit depleted on Barrios.
Yankees have lined it up as Castro takes ball 4, so that Luis Severino would start the wild card game unless the Yankees have a chance to win the division on the last day of the regular season. Here are the matchups if the postseason were to begin today. It would be the Twins and the Yankees in the American League wild card game, with the Cleveland Indians awaiting the winner. Bases loaded for Grossman. How about the Twins season series with the Indians, Tom? At home, the Twins have lost 9 of 10 to Cleveland. But on the road, they've won 5 out of 6.
Very odd. It's been an odd season for Minnesota. They actually played poorly at home first half of the season. I don't think there was a particular reason for that, but their performance on the road enabled them to keep their heads above water.
They have a better record on the road than at home. 500 record at home. Target Field, 4 games over on the road. Bases loaded, only 1 out. Time is called by Grossman, who has scored 2 runs today. 1 for 2 with a walk. Castellanos moving to his left. Escobar tags. He will score. Sacrifice fly. RBI number 41 for Robbie Grossman. Kepler moves to third. Twins now lead 8-1.
We've seen a lot of good situational hitting tonight from the Minnesota Twins. Two-strike hitting, opposite field hitting. Right there where elevation was needed, Grossman provided it.
So now with 2 outs, here's Dozier. 0 for 3 with a walk. Every Twin starter has reached base at least once. 5 of the 9 Twins have driven in runs. Eight-1 Minnesota, 2 outs, top of the 7th inning. Kenny Albert, Tom Verducci from Comerica Park in Detroit. Miles J, the 5th Tigers pitcher tonight. 1-1 to Dozier. In for a called strike. 1-2. Joe Mauer with 3 hits tonight. Now 2-2.
That's that backup breaking ball. Pitcher throws that by accident. Fools a lot of people. Very hard for a hitter to pull the trigger on a pitch like that. I was hoping to get the call, but just missed inside.
Ryan Presley in the Twins pen. Dozier got a piece of it. Action in the Tigers pen as well.
'27, actually 26 available relievers, Kenny. Just reminding you. Make sure you have enough room on your scorecard.
We have already seen 5. Speculation about the future of Brad Ausmus here in Detroit.
Contract up this year.
Dozier fouls it back this way, just above our broadcast booth, just out of the reach of Tom Verducci.
We're talking about all the relievers available. It looks like there was a tour group going out there. And maybe they were setting up shop for a week. We got backpacks. Look at that. We got the thermos right here. Don't forget the thermos. You got provisions in case you're stuck out there for a 5-hour game. We got hoodies and warm-ups in case the weather gets cold. We got the cups necessary to drink out of the cooler for the coffee, the thermos. Well, that's like a Boy Scout trip right there. Everybody's prepared. That's crowded. The first 5 months of the season, guys, you got plenty of room to stretch out. Now we're going shoulder to shoulder. This is when hygiene really matters in September. Don't forget the seeds.
We're now up to 52 foul balls.
We're going to have Marty look up the Major League record.
I think he was at the game. Jay missing high, full count. Dozier at the plate. Joe Mauer waiting on deck.
He's got something going on with somebody in his dugout there. It's nice, huh? You can smile. 8-1. Seen about 2 to 3 dozen pitches tonight. About to get another one right here.
And it's a called strike 3 to end the inning. 11 pitch at bat. Twins add a run. 7th inning stretch time in Detroit. Summary with the Twins leading the Tigers 8-1. 3 hits for Joe Mauer tonight. 17 base runners for the Twins. Candelario, a couple of hits. Drove in the Tigers' run back in the 3rd.
No home runs. You believe it?
No home runs. 6 relief pitches to this point, including 28-year-old right-hander Ryan Presley making his 53rd appearance for the Twins. Starter Alberto Mejia went 4 2/3 for Minnesota. Dylan G worked an inning and a 1/3. Here's Jacoby Jones, who is 0 for 2. Swings at the first pitch. Fair ball. Escobar across. 2 retired Jones. 1 away.
That is a nice play. We talked about infielders' hands. Footwork made this play. You watch Escobar get to the side of the baseball so that his momentum is going towards the bag as he catches it. The work was done before he caught the ball. The easy part now is just throwing because he got himself in position to throw. That is the feat, or are the feet of a shortstop right there. You think about guys like Nolan Arenado, Manny Machado, third basemen who are so good on the move. You think of third base as a reactionary position. Right there you saw making a play in motion, the way the best do it.
Jose Iglesias doubled back in the 3rd inning, came around to score the only Detroit run. 0-2 from Presley. High and tight. And Iglesias can't believe it.
Is this foul tipped? No. Was it a swing? Well, I guess they called it on the swing.
Yeah, they checked with the first base umpire, Roberto Ortiz. He said Iglesias went around.
I'm not quite sure if I'm on board with that. I'll just pass along. There's really no clear definition of what constitutes a swing. You'll hear people talk about, oh, the barrel crossed the plate or his wrist broke. It's got nothing to do with it. Remember I said I had the opportunity to umpire during spring training game at first base. During my tutorial, it lasted about a week, he taught me when you're doing the bases, position yourself on chalk of the foul line, so you're looking right down the line, not only to call fair or foul, but that's your guidepost for calling swing or not. When the barrel of the bat crosses the visual of the foul line, that you can use the guidepost for calling strike or not.
Escobar again. Presley retires the Tigers in order in the 7th. Ball on FS1 is sponsored by Ford. We are going further, so you can. Beautiful evening in Detroit, Comerica Park. 8-1 lead for the Minnesota Twins. As Joe Mauer leads off here at the top of the 8th.
So pay attention, students. Our clinic director is back at the podium. Pay attention.
He's reached base 4 times, 3 hits, 2 runs. He's driven in 2. Shortstop Iglesias. 1 out. Now retired for the first time tonight. We've been talking about that 13 pitch at bat yesterday against the Yankees and some of the other long at bats. 11 pitch at bat in the first inning for Osorio. We've just been passed a note. The most pitches faced in a single 9-inning game since they've been keeping track of pitches. Started back in 1988. Joe Ranta, the Joker.
Sure. Third baseman, Kansas City.
Back in 2003. 47 pitches to Randa in a 9-inning game.
Wow. That is running up a pitch count. 47 pitches.
Three hits for Mauer, 3 hits for Polanco. Randa, former Tiger, played here in Detroit back in '98. In that game on April 3rd, 2003, it was a 12-6 Royals win over the White Sox. Randa finished the game 0 for 3 with 2 walks.
So you had nothing to show for it, at least in the hit column. A lot of grinding.
John Garland, the White Sox starter in that game.
That's when you were permitted to throw more than 120 pitches, too. It wasn't a big deal, right?
Garland threw 83 in 4 innings. Polanco will hit to first. Second walk issued by Miles J. So here's Eddie Rosario.
By the way, I'm sorry. How many times has McCann gone out to the mound? Is that also 52? A race between foul balls and McCann visits the mound.
Just wearing out that path.
I mean, really, that's a runner at first base. Nobody's even on second base. Just gave the signal there that not holding the runner on first, but you know, the holding hands of these pitchers, you know, something has to be done about it.
Do you think there should be a limit?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're not splitting the atom or doing brain surgery. You know, there's meetings all day long about how to pitch the other team. And I get it. There's a lot of relief pitchers, a lot of players to keep track of. But come on. I mean, it's a runner on first base, 1 out. And you got to go out and review how to pitch to Rosario. And one of the things they floated is an idea of 1 visit per inning. I mean, think about it. Baseball is the only sport you can call timeout as many times as you want for whatever reason you want. At any time, and it's permitted. So if you cap it 1 per inning, you'd have to use them as every other sport does, judiciously.
On the ground to the right side. Flip to second to get the lead runner. Rosario on at first. Our Grip the Moment sponsored by Falcon Tires, the official tire of Major League Baseball.
And Grip the Moment with good feet. Made this throw possible. Nice play. You know, actually, the idea of the 1 visit per inning has been talked about by the competition committee. We just floated that past A.J. Hinch, the manager of the Astros. He liked the idea. He agreed something needs to be done, but he also suggested perhaps late in the game, maybe from the 7th inning on, you increase that to 2 per inning.
Not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea, but the idea is that there is some limit to the number of timeouts, the stoppages in play. Because you don't want to truly affect the strategy of the game too much about how the game is played. But at the same time, you want to do what you can to move the game along.
To Escobar. Inside, ball 4, second walk of the inning. First and second with 2 out. And now the shortstop Iglesias in for a chat with pitcher Miles J. So would you count that as a visit?
Yes. I think anytime someone goes to the mound, that's a visit.
Kepler 1 for 4 today. 2 on, 2 out. Pitch gets away from McCann. Both runners will advance.
Breaking ball in the dirt. Just going to run up the arm of McCann right there. A long game for him. He's chased down a lot of pitches back there out of the strike zone.
Now 2-0 on Kepler. He's hit 18 home runs this season. In the last series in New York, he hit his first of the year off a left-hander. CC Sabathia was the first allowed by CC to a left-handed hitter this season. Kepler drills this one into the right field corner. 2 runs will score. Kepler is in at second. And the Twins now lead 10-1.
That was loud. If you were back in the concession stand and weren't watching the game, you heard this, you knew that was smoked, and that was a hit. Sweet sound of wood. Max Kepler. A sweet swing. You know, they signed him out of Germany at 16. The comparisons then were people like Sean Green, Grady Sizemore, very athletic, with a little more power in terms of the ceiling, and I still think he hasn't scratched the surface there. Got a nice approach, nice swing. And hey, guess what? Another meeting on the mound.
Got to look at Zach Reininger up in the Tigers' pen. MLB whip round coming up following the Twins and the Tigers. 10-1 lead for Minnesota. Tigers bullpen has allowed 7 runs. Buxton takes ball 2.
Max Kepler, the son of 2 ballet dancers, accomplished ballet dancers.
Now you know where he gets his athleticism from.
Absolutely. As you mentioned, Steffi Graf Tennis Academy scholarship winner. Was a very good soccer player. Fell in love with baseball.
Buxton fouls it off to the right side. 2-2. Ten runs, 13 hits for the Twins. 1 run, only 5 hits for the Tigers.
Jay just doesn't look right to me. Not just the strike zone, just he's a little upright throwing the baseball, just doesn't look comfortable. Just trying to find a way to get a 3rd out here.
His 51st pitch in 2 innings, missing away ball 4 to Buxton. 3rd walk of the inning.
Just even that last pitch there, you saw the finish on it. Just didn't look right to me. almost fatigued.
So that will be all for Miles J. Sixth pitcher of the game coming in for the Tigers. MLB postseason begins October 3rd with the AL Wild Card on ESPN. October 4th, the NL Wild Card on TBS. Then October 5th, the American League Division Series begins on FS1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Zach Reiniger making his 9th appearance. 6th pitcher of the night for the Tigers. With 2 outs, top of the 8th inning. Runners on first and second, and Jason Castro at the plate. After Miles J threw 51 pitches in an inning and 2/3. Castro has walked twice. Tiger pitchers have walked 8 Twins in all, including 3 here in the 8th. Now back to the screen, 0-2.
Well, listen, their young pitchers have definitely struggled with command. That's not a secret. But I also like the approach of the Twins at the plate. You know, they've remained disciplined. You know, even with a big lead here, they've still had put together good at-bats. When you think about swing percentage, the total number of pitches you see, the ones you swing at, the Twins are tied for 3rd in the baseball for the least. Smallest percentage of swings. Think about the top 4 teams: Boston, the LA Dodgers, the Twins, and Indians. Get something in common, those 4 teams, right? Maybe seeing all of them in the postseason. Those are your most patient hitting teams. Heads up over there. Another pulled foul ball. That counts as a souvenir, right? They flipped that one into the stands.
Absolutely. Castro into the left field corner. Foul ball. Another souvenir.
We're getting close to 5 dozen. Have to go rub up some more baseballs in this game. winning lottery tickets. Everybody's got that same expression. They pick up a foul ball. I won. Great.
You ever get one as a fan?
Not as a fan, only in the broadcast booth.
You toss it down to a kid.
Yeah, there's the ball back. That thing's getting low. Started filled to the brim. Back in the day, the umpires used to rub up the baseballs. That was a while ago. I mean, it's probably been 20 years since they stopped doing that. You have clubhouse attendants do it. Randy Johnson, when he was pitching, used to make sure he tipped the clubhouse attendant in Arizona a fair amount of money, the guy who was rubbing up the baseballs, because he wanted them especially dark. You know, this is the way you order your coffee. He wanted his dark. Obviously tougher for the hitters to see. So you get the home clubhouse guy rubbing up the baseballs. That's a home field advantage right there.
Left field, long run for Montuk, cannot get to it. 2 runs will score. The Twins now lead 12-1 as Castro drives in a pair.
I don't know about you, but I was watching Buxton run the bases. And he wasn't even close to top gear. And it still looked like an Olympic sprint race. This ball had real good carry on it. Get to the opposite field by Castro. Got Buxton on first base. Look, he's running down Kepler right there. Got Buxton on first base. He's in scoring position at first base. Forget second. There's a lot of RBIs to be had when he's on base.
The Twins have 4 doubles in this game. They've driven in 7 runs on those 4 two-base hits.
And still no home runs.
Grossman, left center. Montuk. Inning comes to an end. Twins score 4. Middle of the 8th. 12-1. 12-1 lead, but Tom, as you mentioned, no home runs in the game tonight.
And that's why we're saying that with such surprise. Look at the numbers there. Already an all-time record for home runs. We will pass 6,000 this year before all is said and done. The record was surpassed, the other night? Alex Gordon, who actually happened to be last in the major leagues in slugging percentage among qualifiers.
Wow.
Hit the record-breaking home run.
It was Alex Presley of the Tigers who tied the record. Candelario leading off for the Tigers here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Some defensive changes for the Twins. Granite now in left. Vargas. Goodrum. First and second base.
Well, if you're a manager in a pennant race, you love these kind of games. You don't have to sweat it out, first of all, but even tactically, to get your players off the field, give them a break, and also you don't have to use your winning pieces, guys you normally go to out of your bullpen with a lead in close games. Keep them rested. They want to see a home run.
You see a strikeout here, then the throw to first by the catcher Castro to retire Candelario. Second strikeout for Ryan Presley.
Now, there have been 7 games this year with 12 or more runs without a home run. That actually surprised me. I looked it up. Actually, even that many. Path to victory typically in today's game is paved with home runs.
Navarro batting for Cabrera. With one out, bottom of the 8th inning.
That's the play of the night right there. Now that young man. One-hand grab. Watch this, right towards the camera. Might break something. Oh, that's the save of the night, not just the catch of the night. Thank you. That's keeping your focus in a 12-1 game, Kenny.
How about those reflexes?
That's staying locked in.
The 1-2 from Presley. Yet another foul ball. '61 foul balls.
61 foul balls. Where did it go?
Still can't find it.
Oh, somebody will find it. Back in the day, I'm talking 75, 80 years ago, sometimes they get through a game with 1 or 2 baseballs.
Incredible.
If you want to go farther back, there's stories about how fields weren't nearly as meticulously kept as they are today. Outfielders would hide baseballs deep in the grass behind them. So if a guy hit a gapper, they go to their hidden baseball, pick that up instead of chasing it. You gotta be stretching a double into a triple, thinking he had an easy triple, and all of a sudden the ball was coming back. Well, it wasn't the same ball.
No TV, no replays to check it out back then. Twins have scored all 12 of their runs in the last 5 innings. 31314. That's the zip code of a U.S. Army post in Fort Stewart, Georgia.
313 area code sounds familiar.
Right. 31314, Fort Stewart, Georgia.
So you can play that number on the lottery tomorrow, right?
With 2 away, here's Castellanos. His 17-game hit streak is on the line.
Now that is a Tigers fan. You see that young dude? He had a rally hat on.
You'd like to see the hitting streak extended. Castellanos 0 for 3.
Longest active streak in baseball. A couple of rally hats right there.
One and 2. One Twins, bottom of the 8th inning, 2 outs.
Castellanos still grinding right here. Good at bat.
The 1-2.
These people aren't leaving until they get a foul ball. Everybody else got one. I want one too. Well, he got one. That's better than ice cream right there. Last a lot longer too. Last a lifetime.
Another foul.
You know, this game has such an impact on kids. I'm not kidding when I say it lasts a lifetime. I think of the story about a kid in New Britain, Connecticut, went to see a minor league team, the Rockcats, play, and Torrey Hunter in the Minnesota Twins system then had a game of catch with a young man just like that age, from the stands to the field. Well, that kid turned out to be George Springer, now a major leaguer with the Houston Astros. And he said literally that day changed his life. It's the day when he decided he wanted to be a big league player, all because of a simple game of catch from a minor leaguer named Torrey Hunter.
Right field, Kepler. We head to the 9th. Twins 1 inning away from extending their lead in the American League wild card standings. leading the Tigers 12-1. 12 runs, 14 hits for Minnesota. 1 run, only 5 hits for Detroit. Jairo Laborte, the 7th pitcher of the evening for the Tigers.
Now, he could be just fine, but I just want to tell you, his last warm-up pitch, it hit the backstop on the fly.
That is not good. First pitch to Nico Goodrum. Ball 1, wholesale changes. Holiday now behind the plate. Navarro at first, Romine at second, Machado at short. Goodrum's second-round pick by the Twins back in 2010. He's played close to 700 minor league games in the Twins system. Made his major league debut earlier this month. Now 3-1. Full count.
As much as we love round numbers, have we cracked the 200 pitch mark yet? Detroit pitching tonight? Because Minnesota batters have made them work.
This will be pitch number 193.
How exciting. Oh, and another great play over there. He's just showing off now.
Sign him up.
One to the right, one to the left. And there's a guy, Omar Vizquel, who appreciates good hands. Man, that was good. I used to do it just like that.
Remember Rex Barney, the former Major League pitcher and public address announcer in Baltimore? When a fan made a great catch on a foul ball, he would announce over the public address system, give that fan a contract. Give this bat boy a contract.
Hey, it's been a rough month for the Tigers. You never know.
Goodrum takes ball 4. Leadoff man on for the Twins here in the 9th.
Well, even if you're a fan of the Tigers, you had to appreciate the work of this man. It's like going to a concert and seeing a virtuoso violinist. But his instrument, the bat. Bat to ball, nobody better. Fastball up, breaking ball down and in. That's a good pitch he carves in the left field. Change up away. Common denominator, certainly wasn't the type of pitches. Look at the head to the baseball. Each one looks exactly the same. The focus, the still head, the eyes on the baseball. There's a lot of things you can do differently as a hitter to get the barrel to the ball. But everybody on any level has to make sure the head is on the ball. This is what counts right here. Look at the focus on the baseball, on balance. You can have a crazy stance. You can be upright. You can have your knees bent, but you have to get to that position.
Kenny Vargas at the plate. 7 hits in his last 15 at bats.
I almost ran into this guy in the clubhouse. I'm glad I didn't. It is a large man.
There it is, Tom. Pitch number 200. Vargas down on strikes. The 200th pitch by a Tigers pitcher tonight.
It didn't seem like any more than, I don't know, 195.
Matt Belisle in the Twins pen.
Closer needs some work.
Goodrum to second as that pitch skipped away from Holiday. Sixth appearance of the season for Laborte with the Tigers. The 1-0 to Polanco. In for a strike, 1-1. This is Adrianza pinch hitting for Polanco. Fouls it off, now 1-2. Scorecard getting messy, Tom?
Yeah, it's Jackson Pollock comes to mind.
Well hit. Deep center field. Jones under it. 2 away.
I was thinking for you, this must seem like, I don't know, a preseason NFL game. A lot of changes.
90 on each side in those games. As Bartolo Colon started yesterday's game for the Twins in New York. 44 years of age. He once made a promise to his mom that he would pitch until he's 45.
You gotta follow through on a promise to your mom.
He's almost there. This is Zach Granite. He had a couple of hundred people at the Yankee series.
Local boy makes good, right? Staten Island.
And then attended Seton Hall in New Jersey. Twins minor league player of the year last season.
How did he not go to Fordham? Or play football? I'm sure he probably played as a kid. Baseball things worked out pretty well for him. By the way, watching Cologne there made me think of there's one active player left who got a hit in the old Tiger Stadium. Not quite as old as Mr. Cologne, but Carlos Beltran.
Granite draws a walk. Yes, he attended Seton Hall, not Fordham. Of course, Tom referencing the 7 blocks of granite.
Of course.
Now 2 on with 2 out. And Escobar at the plate. That's 10 walks issued by Tigers pitching tonight. Over 200 pitches, 12 runs, 14 hits, 24 base runners, 10 walks.
You're leaving out the most important tally.
No home runs.
No, foul balls.
Approaching 70.
That's why these people are still here.
First of a 4-game series.
Oh, I love that.
Her
Keep
scorecards
score.
probably neater than ours.
But the old school pencil too. There's another foul ball, by the way.
And it's one of those small pencils that they
Yes.
sell with the program scorecard.
Do they still do that here at Comerica? Because they used to do
guess
that
so.
at Tiger Stadium. It was awesome. You buy a scorecard for about 25 cents, and you got a pencil. I mean, there was no better deal in baseball than a scorecard and a pencil.
You only got those small pencils in 2 places: the ballpark and the bowling alley. Maybe the golf course as well.
Golf course, yeah.
Mott took in left. You were talking about the smell of the bat earlier. How about the smell of the program back in the day?
Yeah.
America Park. Twins leading the Tigers 12-1. And we look forward to MLB Whip Round coming up with Mike Hill and the gang as they update the wild card standings in both leagues. Matt Belisle, 59th appearance, will look to close things out for the Twins. Adrianza remains in the game at shortstop for the Twins. Mitch Garver behind the plate. Places Castro. Matic 0 for 3 off the fists. And it bounces in front of Goodrum. Matic got it first.
Give him a base hit there? I would say think so.
Why not? May as well.
Sometimes if you mishit it enough, you get rewarded. I think just they ran out of steam.
So Matuk got it first. Here's Brian Holiday batting for the first time. It is a base hit for Matuk. First Tigers hit since the 5th inning. Holiday fouls it back. Just to our right. Foul ball number 73.
That's got to be a record. I'll tell you, everybody going home tonight's got a baseball. That's got a big mark on it, by the way. Look at that.
This will be pitch number 346 in tonight's game.
By the way, that ball hit, we should say, like a steel girder or something. I don't think Mr. Belisle is doing anything to the baseball. You don't typically see closers throwing 88 to 91, but Belisle is a guy Paul Molitor trusts, as he said, to throw strikes under pressure. This doesn't qualify as a pressure situation, but once they traded Kinsler, they're closer to Washington at the deadline. With a youngish bullpen out there, this became the best option. Throwing strikes under pressure.
Count is now full with Matuk on at first. No outs. Bottom of the ninth inning. 12-1 Minnesota. Twins unable to turn two. Holiday beats the throw. They get the lead runner. Matuk, one out.
Another sweet play by Escobar here. Footwork and handiwork. Watch the spinorama and the strike to second base.
So with one away, John Hicks 1 for 3. This is pitch number 350. Left center. And a diving catch is made by Granite for out number 2.
Love it. 12-1 game, laying out. Doesn't matter what the score is, right? Good jump on this ball. We saw Mauer looking the bat to the barrel. We saw Granite look the ball into the glove. Thank you very much. His little cheat sheet, by the way. You saw the card he pulled out of his pocket. It's about where to play each hitter.
Jacoby Jones takes a called strike. Tigers down to their final out. Twins scored 3 in the 4th, a run in the 5th, 3 in the 6th, a run in the 7th, 4 in the 8th. 12 runs, 14 hits for Minnesota. They will end a 3-game losing streak. Nine games remaining for the Twins, 6 of the 9 against these Tigers. Angels lost earlier today to the Indians, who won their 27th in the last 28. Jones shoots this one into deep right field. On the warning track, the catch is made by Kepler. The Minnesota Twins extend their lead, now 2.5 games above the Angels in that second wild card spot. 3 hits for Joe Mauer. Twins win it 12-1 in the first of a 4-game series at Comerica Park. Great job by our entire crew. For Tom Verducci, I'm Kenny Albert. Twins 12 and the Tigers 1 as we send you to Los Angeles, the MLB Whip Around with Mike and the gang. Guys,